Hi, kindergarten families. It's Miss Fenimore here, and I heard that you just received a Play to Learn summer kit. And I'm here to talk a little bit about all of the items in that kit and how you can use them. So, one thing that us educators think about at the beginning of every school year is we think about the students that are coming in and where they are, but we also think about what they're coming with. Okay. And we know that all students learn differently. They come at all different levels. So we have to become very creative in trying to enhance what they already know to get them to learn what they need to learn, especially in first grade, because in first grade, believe it or not, they're going to learn everything they need for the rest of their lives. They're going to learn how to read. They're going to do basic math. They're going to explore a variety of science and social studies topics. They're going to learn how to write full paragraphs. And they are going to, most importantly, learn how to communicate and be active listeners with their peers and with adults. So it's a very, very important year. I was very blessed to teach first grade for 17 out of my 22 years. So I think it's the best grade in the world, and I'm excited for your kindergartner to start. So let me go through with the summer slide. So the summer slide is where you have all summer long, and the kids want to relax and you want to relax. And sometimes what happens, because they're not on a consistent schedule, some of their learning that they received in kindergarten starts to kind of go away, because what's happening in the brain is that short-term memory has not transferred it to the long-term memory area. So, and that's okay. That's what us first grade teachers have to try to get really good at, is figuring out, okay, what do they have? What are they missing? And what do they need? So that's kind of what happens. So if you're sitting here with your child, just know, upcoming first graders, that think of it like being out on playground on the slide. You end kindergarten, you're at the top of the slide, you've got everything you need, you're ready for first grade. And then through the summer, you start going down that slide, and then you're done. And then maybe you don't have all of those skills just because you don't remember them, and that's okay. Okay, it takes time, it takes lots of practice, but you're going to get it, I promise. So now what I want to do is I want to dive into this kit, because I am so excited to see what's in here for you. So if you have your kit, please get it out, and you can go through these items with me as you are watching. So it says, hello, hola, look inside for fun. Here we go, this way. And then you're going to flip it open, or flip it over, open me, and you're just going to lift it up. Okay, just like that. All right. Uh-oh. Oh, it's blocking. You have to take that out. So families, you have a little sheet that will give you some really cool information on it. It also has a website called beyondtheblackboard.com, and this will give you some, if you're tech and always on the computer, this is a good place for you to go. Great website to give you just some different ideas. Okay, because the last thing we want our kids to do, we don't want them to get, we want them to get bored, but not with stuff like this. Like, we want them to have fun and have those experiences. So the purpose of these materials is just to keep your child's brain activated with some maths, with some reading, with some hands-on stuff. So there's lots of colors in here, so I'm loving it already. And I see some things that I actually used to use in first grade, and I'm going to give you some tips on how you can use them other than what's already being told to you. All right, so the benefits of the kit items. So let's go in. We're going to dive into our kits, and here we go. So the first thing that I'm going to take out is something that one of my favorite authors, Anne illustrators have, and this is an alphabet Go Fish. So if you have not played Go Fish yet, oh, you're just missing out. So, so I advise you to start playing it. But anyway, so these cards are, you might recognize some of those characters, right? There's one of my favorites, the hungry little caterpillar. But these are illustrations created by none other but Eric Carle, who also writes those books, Brown Bear, What Do You See? So this is an alphabet Go Fish game. It includes uppercase and lowercase letter cards with a picture of his illustrations, which is awesome. So this is great to identify letters, which I'm almost positive all you kindergartners know your letters. And if you don't, that's okay, because this is something you can do and practice with. But not only that, but identifying the sounds that those letters make. And the cool thing is, like when I'm looking on the back, there's two examples there. They have a capital H and a lowercase h, and there is a hippo on both of those cards. And then you have the capital F and the lowercase f for none other than fish. Okay. And also, it has the words fish and hippo on the cards as well. So that is great for not only identifying your alphabet, your letters, but also identifying words that begin with those letters. Another thing you can do is use the cards to spell out words. Now, again, you're not going to be able to spell out multisyllabic words that include like more than one A or more than one H, because you probably only have enough cards in here for one letter, and that's okay. Well, you have for two, capital and lowercase. So just kind of keep that in mind. So if you are a student or a kindergartner who's going to first grade and you already can identify all your letters, you know all of your sounds, start building some words. And then in addition to this, whether you're identifying letters, identifying sounds, or making words, make them and then write them. Okay. So practicing your writing is going to really, really help. Okay. And you know what? I know some teachers only let you use pencils, but you have crayons, markers, colored pencils, paint. If any of you love to use paint, I mean, come on. Or if you have Play-Doh at home, I guarantee most of you have Play-Doh in your house. Use that Play-Doh and make the letters. I promise there are tons of ways you can do this. Something else you can do. How many of you like going outside? So get some rocks. Use the rocks to make the letters. Use the rocks to build your name or other words that you know. You also can grab a stick and then draw the letters in the dirt. There are so many ways to do this. So just have fun. That's what it's all about. So we have this, and then we have a conversation card packet. So these are great to take on road trips, okay? Especially if you have older siblings, because of course, mom, dad, grandma, aunt, uncle, grandpa, they're probably driving. They shouldn't be reading this while they're driving because they've got to keep everybody safe. But if you have someone else in that car, or maybe you can read the questions. So let's try one. And the cool thing is, these conversation cards are not only in English, they're also in Espanol. So I will do my best to read one, and I'll read it in English and I'll read it in Espanol as well. So, oh, here's one. What would you name a dog if you got one tomorrow? ¿Qué sería un nombre para un perro si te dan una mañana? So these are great for road trips. They're also great for rainy days. Even though if you're my kids, we like going out in the rain. So that's just something else you could do. So you've got so far Alphabets Go Fish cards, conversation cards. Then, oh, here we go. Oh, I'm gonna talk about this because there's a pair here. You've got playing cards and you've got a book that teaches you all the different games for these playing cards and lots more. There's a lot more games than that are just in here. But what's cool about these cards is they are numbered and then they have the symbols on them. Okay, so we call it a diamond in the cards, even though they're really, if for math terms, they're a rhombi, a rhombus. And then you've got clubs, spades, and hearts. And what's cool is they have numbers on these cards, so you can practice identifying numbers. So here we're switching into math, okay? Identifying the numbers. But also, if I were to pull out one of these playing cards, and let's say it has the number 5, right? It's going to have 5. Let's say I do a 5 of hearts. Pull out a card, says 5, and it's got 5 hearts on it. So then I can practice my one-to-one correspondence, meaning I am counting each heart one at a time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm identifying that. Something else you can do in addition to the playing cards is you can play a game, which this was my favorite to do in first grade because it was a great center activity because the kids could do it on their own once I showed them. It's called My Pile, Your Pile. The only thing you need is a partner. And you know what? And if you don't have a partner, you actually can do it on your own. So it's identifying numbers. It's the one-to-one correspondence. You know, that number is matching the amount of pictures on that card. You can do greater than, less than. And you can do combinations. So like you pull 2 cards, okay? I pulled a 5 and I pulled a 4. Well, then I'm going to combine them, meaning add them together, and I'm going to practice counting one-to-one correspondence. Or if you're taking it up a level and you're already there, you already know 5, and then I'm going to count on from 5. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I know when I add or combine, sorry, 5 and 4, that it's going to make 9. Counting on is a skill that you will practice and I guarantee will nail down in first grade. And you got to get real good at it because you got to be able to combine within 10 like that. And not only combine when we're putting things together, but also when we're taking away. So here we go with some subtraction. So let's say I've got 2 piles, right? And I'm going to flip over 2 cards, one from each pile, right? So first I'm going to identify which is the greater amount. So let's say I pull a 10 and I pull a 4, right? So I have 10 and 4. I know 10 is greater than 4. And then I've got to think, if I'm going to start at 4, I'm going to count up to 10. And how many counts is that going to be? So then I'm going to say 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So then I know that 10 minus 4 makes 6, okay? Because we're taking away 4 of them from that 10, okay? You can draw it out. You can use, remember I told you on the cards, if I'm pulling a 10 of spades, it's going to have 10 spades on there. So then I'm going to maybe cover up 4 of those spades, and then I'm going to count what's left over, okay? Because we're taking some away. And anytime you're taking away, your amount is decreasing. So you're getting a less amount. Anytime you're combining, your amount is increasing. You're getting more, okay? So I just kind of think about that. These are all activities and skills you are going to be practicing a lot of in first grade during math, okay? So just some ideas. So excellent. So we've got the fantastic card game classics. Sorry, I'm trying to read it backwards with the cards themselves. So we have that. All right, so let's dig back in. One of my favorite locations, and it is the theme here. I see 10, and this is a math game. And that C means the same as the ocean. Okay, so not like I see, that's SEE, which I guarantee that was a kindergarten word wall word. So you probably already know that. So this is catching combinations of 10. So you've got some more things in here and how to play. You take turns flipping cards over and you see and grab combinations that make 10. So you reel in the most combinations and you win. So if you're playing against someone else, or maybe there's 3 or 4 of you, then you are doing it like a competition. You're playing to win, right? But you can do this on your own. So you just have to make them. Now, one thing that I do want to advise is if you do not have, let's say that your child is not real strong at counting, okay, or knowing that 6 and 4 make 10, then what you can do is you can give them a piece of paper and whatever writing tool they want to use, like let them choose choice. Like if you give them choices, they're going to want to do it. Okay, just saying. I'm a mom of 3. It is all about choices. Even when we don't want to give them choices, it's better to give them choices. So give them a writing utensil, whatever they want to use, and have them draw out that amount. Okay. And as they're drawing it out, have them count. So if let's say I pull a 7, okay. So I'm going to draw out 7 and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have 7 circles, or they can draw hearts or squares or rhombuses or triangles, whatever they want to draw. Okay, maybe they want to draw smiley faces. Doesn't matter, or a fish. Okay, 7 fish. And then I find 2. Okay, so I have 7, and then I have a 2. So then I'm going to add on to that 7, and I'm going to go 1, 2, and then I'm going to go back. And as I'm counting to make sure I have 7 and 2 more, I'm going to put numbers on my circles. So now I'm going to say them and count it out loud as I'm writing the numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, what? So that means 7 and 2, when I combine them together, I'm putting them together, it's going to make 9. So 7 plus 2 equals 9. Okay, have your child write it. There's so much research that talks about the importance of writing. Okay, and they're actually saying that handwriting is a lost art, and we see it in education all the time. And it's not just about handwriting, not just about the formation, it is about the learning. So what happens is when your child is doing an activity like IC10, this math game, and they are making those circles and they're writing those numbers, that one-to-one correspondence to identify how many circles they have written down, it is actually giving them more advantage in their brain, and it is causing these pathways to myelinate. And what happens is it goes from short-term memory into our long-term memory bank. So then when they're coming to first grade, they already know what to do. They have a strategy. That is a strategy that they can now use in first grade. And it's going to extend, because within first grade, for math, yes, they need to know numbers within 10 like that, adding and subtracting, but they go to 20, they go to 100. And for those high flyers, because I know when I taught first grade, if I had a kid who was already identified within 100, we were going beyond 100. Okay, so don't be afraid to push them a little bit out of their comfort zone, but you are the adult, you know when it's going to be too much for them, and let them have breaks. Give them breaks. It is okay. I give them breaks all the time here in science. I gave my kids breaks all the time in first grade. We need those brain breaks. Even as adults, we need those brain breaks, okay? Because what happens is when we take those breaks, even if it's 2 minutes, it whites the working memory in that prefrontal lobe, and it opens it up for more learning, okay? A lot of science behind that. And I'm a brain nut, so as you can see, my growth brain. All right, so we're not done. There's so some more stuff in here. So exciting. All right. So this is something that was a staple in my household since my kids were young. The Brain Quest cards. Okay. Now, these smart cards are, yes, they are for kindergarten, but some of these are, I mean, look at all this. Look at the, I mean, it's like front and back. So it has the questions, but it also has the answers. So don't be afraid to let your kid explore the answers as well, because sometimes they need that confirmation. Okay. And it's awesome. Great for road trips, great for just rainy days or days where you just want to laze around. You could be cooking dinner or doing whatever and just say, hey, what is in the jar? What is that? What's on the jar? Okay. Now, they may not recognize that that's going to say jam. Most of our students know it as jelly. Okay. But I guarantee they know what that fruit is. So this is where you can say, hey, what fruit is on that jar? This is a jar of jam. What is that fruit? Oh, it's a strawberry. What color is that strawberry? Or what do you notice about that strawberry? Oh, the strawberry is red. There's white dots on it. There's green. Okay. So much conversation can be had just by using your sense of sight. So don't miss those opportunities. There's always an opportunity to learn. Another thing that's in here is a book, Hippo and Rabbit. And there's 3 short tales in here. So they're real quick. So if you have those readers already in your household, they're probably going to read it with you. Okay. And the cool thing is the story, it's all speech bubbles. So Hippo and Rabbit are actually having conversations. Okay, and you can talk to them about this. This is actually called a text feature, and that's something we work on in first grade as well, is they work on text features. And then you can make up voices. Okay, so like, you can't eat that for breakfast. It's not good for you. But I love cheeseburgers. Hey, try this. A carrot? So do you see how animated I became? That's what you want to do. And even though as an adult, like you think it's silly, because believe you me, at the beginning of my years of teaching, I'm going, really? But if we all talk like this, are our children going to listen? No. It's like Charlie Brown and his teacher. Womp, 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 womp. I'm totally aging myself here, and that's okay. But yeah, have fun with it. Okay. Just have fun. That's it. That is what learning should be. It should be fun, because if it's not fun, your kids aren't going to want to do it. Okay. And I certainly did not like teachers who were not fun. All right. And the last thing that I'm going to show you that's in this kit, actually, there's 2 things. This just kind of gives you a little bit of background about you just look inside for family games that make learning fun. Okay. And it is kindergarten. Um, Again, your kid is at a different level than their classmates. They all are, and that's okay. Don't worry about that. They will catch up. I promise. What I want you to focus on as their guider, because that's what we are, whether we're mom, dad, aunt, uncle, grandma, grandpa, we are in their life to guide them and to make them better than what we are. Okay. So just remember, even if you were a great reader in kindergarten and first grade, that doesn't mean they're going to be. Even if you were not a great reader, I was not a great reader, struggled in it, probably why I love teaching first grade, because it taught me a lot about myself, but also what I wanted to do for those students is maybe your upcoming first grader at home is a great reader. Okay. Expand on that. That's what we want to do. We take what they have, what they come with, and we expand on it, and we show them, wow, you may not be a really good reader now, but you're going to be a great reader. But guess what? You're really good at math. So that's where we're going to really hone in. Okay. Because not everybody's going to be a reader. Not everybody's going to be a mathematician. Not everybody's going to be a scientist or a geographer, or a historian. It's all about what they love. And it is up to us to give them those opportunities. So just take advantage of them because they're only little for a short while. I promise. My oldest is 19. These years fly by, so take advantage. And when you need a break, take a break. It's okay. All right, the last thing I want to show you is not only do you get this awesome stack of Brain Quest cards, you get a summer Brain Quest workbook. Hello. And it's for K and first grade. Okay, so there's a combination of stuff in here. And something else I love about this, of course, it not only includes social studies, but it includes science. Woo, woo. So this is the cool thing about Brain Quest is they do align it with our national standards that us educators teach. Okay, we look at the standard and say, okay, they need to be able to do this. And this is all the stuff we're going to do to get them to meet that standard, or as many of us here at Mount Hope Nanjemoy call it, our learning target. Okay, and if your child hasn't come home and talked about it yet, I promise they're going to do it next year in first grade and definitely in second grade. And when they come to me, which is in second grade, they're going to know it because we talk about learning targets all the time. So, but a cool thing is it gives you this progress map. So allow your kid to track their progress. And if it's hard for them, make a goal and just say, you know what? We're going to try to, here's where we're going to start. And we're going to try to get 2 boxes by Friday. Okay. Or more. So it really is up to you and your child, and have that conversation with them. Talk to them about it. Okay. Because you do not want your child looking at you. And I'm totally giving you a personal experience. You don't want your child looking at you during the summer and saying, this is my summer break. Okay. My oldest, who, like I said, is 19, looked at me, summer, kindergarten, going into first grade, mind you, and said, Mom, this is my summer break too. I don't want to have to do tons of schoolwork. So I, as his mom, had to step back and find those opportunities where I could make our adventures learning adventures. Okay. And there were many times where he would look at me and be like, you do not have to be a teacher all the time. And I would remind him and say, just because I am an educator and that is my job, it is actually my mission. Like, this is what I was put on earth to do. And I was his first teacher, just like you are your children's first teacher. Take advantage of it. Take advantage of that time. Okay. So that is all the cool stuff that is in the box. But as usual, I'm not done talking because I can give you a lot more ideas to do. So, like I said, every day is a learning adventure for your child. Every day is a chance to take advantage of that time together. So, for example, let's say you decide to go outside, okay? You're sitting outside, your child's running around because it's a beautiful day. Maybe there's a swing set. Who knows? Maybe you turn the sprinkler on, okay? One thing that we are all born with are our senses, okay? So our sense of sight, our sense of hearing, our sense of taste, our sense of touch. I'm missing one. Oh, our sense of smell. How could I forget that one? So we have, and not all of us have all 5 senses, because some of us do not have the sense of hearing because we may be deaf. Some of us don't have the sense of sight because we could be blind. Okay, so there's lots of different things, but we're going to go with the senses. So go outside, talk to your kid, say, close your eyes. What do you hear? They could hear a bird. They could hear someone mowing the grass. Okay. How do you know they're mowing the grass? Oh, I hear the lawnmower going. Oh, do you smell anything? Oh, I smell the grass. Okay. For those of you who really like to be adventurous, like my kids and I, we love rainy days. Why do we love rainy days? Because our rainy days are usually spent outside. Now, again, if it's a thunderstorm, yeah, I try to be safe so we don't go outside. But we're going outside. What does it feel like? All right, stand there, arms out, head up, even have them open their mouth. How many raindrops can you catch? Right? And have them see if they can count them. All right. Well, what does that mean? Oh, I just caught 5 raindrops. Okay. But it took a little bit of time for me to count those 5 raindrops. So what does that mean? Is it slow? Are we just getting a drizzle? Are we getting like, is there a lot of rain? Like, is it really pouring? That type of thing. So there's always ways that you can spark your kids' imagination. All right. Um, I want to shift back. I could give you so many different examples using the senses, but just get creative and then let your child ask those questions. You know, Say you decide to go on a beach vacation this year, or maybe you can't go to the ocean, but I'm sorry, what's in our backyard? Nanjemoy Creek, which runs right into the Potomac River. We have Mallows Bay. You know, don't be afraid to take your kids outside and explore Mallows Bay, Hearst State Park, Friendship Landing. They're all on the water. They all have trails. Like, take advantage of that. Hearst State Park, my kids and I, we pack a lunch, we go down there and hope that there's a little bit of beach because, if it's high tide, you don't really have beach. You're walking in the water as soon as you get off that trail to get there. Explore it. What do you hear? What do you see? Huh? The water was calm. Well, now there's waves coming. What caused those waves? There are so many questions you can ask or have your kid ask them. Okay. We know, and I know kids love to talk. And if we give them that opportunity and our full attention, so put the phones away unless you're taking pictures, because I love taking pictures with my kids or videotaping them being silly and crazy and doing all this stuff. Like, put your phone away, give them your undivided attention. I promise you will learn so much about your child that you didn't even realize was possible. Okay. So the last thing that I am going to talk about is, well, there's a couple things. Sorry. I know I like to talk, and your kids know that if I have ever worked with them or they've ever been with me. I found an article on a website called childmind.org. I'm actually on there a lot because they do a lot of research about the brain and children and the importance of learning and how they learn. And it's just really awesome. So I printed out this article because I like stuff in my hands and I like to highlight and underline and write notes. But it's called "Why is it important to read to your child?" So this was written by Hannah Sheldon Dean and Dr. Phillips, who is a child psychologist. She's the clinical expert who brought in the research behind this. Okay. The cool thing is when you go into childmind.org and you look into articles, they do not only have articles to read. So some of us, if we're not real strong readers, you might want to listen to it. So you can listen to the article as well. So they have that option as well. So I highlighted some stuff. So I just want to read what I highlighted. So why is it important to read to your child? Okay. Research now has found that young children whose parents read to them daily have been exposed to at least 290,000 words, more words by the time they enter kindergarten than kids who aren't read to regularly. Okay. Let's say that you decide, I'm not reading the Hippo and Rabbit book for the 100th time. Okay. Do you read a newspaper? Do you pull up articles on your phone about, maybe you're a sports enthusiast? I love ice hockey. Washington Capitals are my favorite. I will read about them and read what's going on. Or I'm a huge baseball fan too, Baltimore Orioles. Whoop, whoop. Maybe I'm going to read about the Baltimore Orioles and see and talk about their record. Oh, they played in this series of 5 games. They won 3 out of 5 games. So what does that mean? Like, you can have these conversations. You can read what you are into reading to your child. Just make sure it's appropriate. Yeah. because we get all the stories. So that like, I mean, almost 300,000 more words. Think about how the importance of that, okay, that they're exposed to. Not only that, it builds their vocabulary. They're going to be able to make those connections with us in the classroom based on what they're bringing in. And the last thing that I want to talk about as far as why it's important to read to your child is the benefits, builds language skills. They learn about the world around them. They develop empathy. That's huge. And it is very hard that's not something that children are just always born with. They develop that and they have emotional awareness. So they're able to understand and acknowledge their emotions. And that is so important for their development and for their independence and their security. They have to feel safe. Okay. You want that for them. All right. So that's just a little bit on why it's important. I could talk about that a little bit more. All right. So we talked about adventures using your five senses. They learned it in pre-K. They learned it in kindergarten. They're going to learn it and use the five senses again in first grade. I even do stuff in here in the science lab with them. So use the five senses. And how many free resources are in Charles County alone? You've got the Nanjemoy Community Center. There is a library outside of that center that you literally can go and take a book and then bring it back and get a new book, okay? Library cards, local libraries, our local libraries, those cards are free. All you have to do is sign up, okay? They also, like, maybe you don't want to take your kids into the library because they're wild. My kids are wild. Like, my kids were loud. It was hard for me to do that. So what I would do is I would order them online and not pay for them, but order them to kind of like get them. And then I'd go and pick them up. And then we take them home and we would read them. And then when we were done reading them, we would take them back and turn them in. So there's lots of different ways. Also, the local library has some interactive shows, you know, for the young ones. So it's really, really cool. They do all kinds of cool stuff. I know like there's some other local things that we will be able to do. I know summer boosts. Some of our kids were invited to summer boosts. Not all kids go, and that's okay. And your kid does not have to go. But there are lots and lots of opportunities. Please make sure you're getting on our website, not just Mount Hope Nanjemoy's website, but also our Charles County Board of Education, ccboe.com. Get on that website. Tons of community activities during the summer. One of our favorites are the Friday nights at the La Plata Town Hall because there's music. Okay. I know last year, I think there were 2 days during the week. There might have been one of them may have been on a Saturday, but it was like a kids show. They do puppet shows. They do science shows. There's tons of free resources out there. Okay. Just look it up, plan it out. Okay. Or just look, like maybe you wake up and you're like, hey, let's go do something today. Take them down to Perth State Park. Take them to Friendship Landing. Go hiking on that trail. You have no idea what you will do for your kid and for yourself being out in nature, because it takes you away from the confines of our home. Not that we want to get away from our home, but nature helps us. Something else I want to talk about is the neurotransmitters in our brains, okay? The only way we get them activated is by doing stuff, all right? My favorite one is oxytocin, okay? So when we are getting oxytocin, when we're making connections with ourselves, with each other. Maybe you have a cat or a dog, or maybe you have a farm with sheep, goats, chickens, cows. Like, you make connections because I guarantee your kids are helping take care of them. And if they're not, teach them to, okay? Because that will build empathy as well. So flooded with oxytocin. Those neurotransmitters build the brain and build more and more brain cells, okay? And make those connections. You'll thank me for this. I'm so excited for your upcoming first graders to start first grade. Like I said, first grade is the best grade, hands down. So thank you for watching this video. I hope I gave you lots of great tips. I will check my email throughout the summer, so you can always email me at dfinamore@ccboe.com. And if I don't get right back to you with an idea or the answer to your question, I will get back to you as soon as I can. I look forward to hearing from you. I'm so excited for you to be able to have the opportunity to have a summer break with your child. Take advantage of it, even if it's just for a little bit of time. Take care. Bye.